I'm sorry, the skinny receptionist said. Her baby blue-on-white nameplate merely read, Juliet. She had short blonde hair that was longer in the front than in the back, and wore a violet T-shirt that I was sure would expose a pierced navel if she were to stand up. Behind her was a mostly open-air boutique-like office space, with 10 or 12 brightly colored plastic desks that were interspersed by big leafy green plants. The eastern wall, to my right, was a series of ceiling-to-floor segmented window panes that were not intended to open. All the secretaries and gophers that worked for Berg, Lewis, and Takayama were young and pretty, regardless of their gender. All except one. There was a chubby woman who sat in a far corner to the left, under an exit sign. She had bad skin and a utilitarian fashion sense. She was looking down, working hard. I immediately identified with her. I imagined sitting in that corner, hating everyone else in the room. "Mr. Brown isn't in?" I asked, ignoring Juliet's request for a name. "He can't be disturbed. Couldn't you just give him a note from me?" Juliet, who hadn't smiled once, not even when I first walked in, actually sneered, looking at me as if I were a city trash collector walking right from my garbage truck into the White House and asking for an audience with the president. I was wearing a suit and tie. Maybe my shoe leather was dull, but there weren't any scuffs. There were no spots on my navy lapels, but, like that woman in the corner, I was obviously out of my depth. A vacuum cleaner salesman among high-paid lawyers. A housefrau thrown in with a bevy of Playboy bunnies. "What is your business with Mr. Brown?" the snotty child asked. "He gives financial advice, right?" She almost answered, but then decided it was beneath her. "I'm a friend of his," I said. "Jumper told me that Roger might show me what to do with my money." Juliet was getting bored. She took in a deep breath, letting her head tilt to the side as she exhaled. It wasn't my skin color that bothered her. People on Madison Avenue didn't mind dark skins in 2008. This woman might have considered voting for Obama, if she voted. She might have flirted with a rap star at some chic nightclub that only served imported champagne and caviar. Roger Brown was black. So were two of the denizens of the airy workspace. No. Juliet didn't like me because of my big, calloused hands and no-frills suit. She didn't like me because I was 2 inches shorter and 40 pounds heavier than a man should be. "If I leave you my card, will you make sure that he gets it?" After another sigh, she held out a hand, palm up. My fat red-brown wallet was older than the child, no doubt. I opened it and rooted among the fake business cards that were the hallmark of my trade. I decided on one that I hadn't brought out since a woman I hardly knew had died at my feet. Arnold Dubois, Vanderzee Domestics, and in-home service aids. I went down on one knee, taking a pen from the red plastic desktop. "Excuse me," Juliet said in protest. I scrawled, "For Roger, a.k.a. B-Brain Brown," across the bottom. Beneath that, I added a number from a lost or maybe stolen cell phone that I had purchased specifically for this job. I stood up easily without grunting because, unknown to Juliet, most of my extra weight was muscle. I handed her the card, and she took it gingerly by a corner. "Is that all?" she said. The chubby woman in the corner looked up at just that moment. I grinned at her and waved. She returned the gesture with a slightly puzzled smile. "Thank you for your time," I said, pretending I was talking to the woman under the exit sign. "This means a lot to me." Juliet sucked a tooth and pulled in her chin. "I remember a time when only black women did that." Stomping down the 2 flights to the street, I was thinking about when I would have pushed harder to get past that girl. All I had to do was get a look at Roger Brown. I had never even seen a photograph of the man, but I knew he was black and in his 30s, with a small crescent scar under his right eye. All I needed was one look.